Oh, welcome back, Queen, to another episode of the Creatress of Freedom Podcast. I am Annie, and I am your host. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm really, really excited to delve into today's topic. Again, everything that I bring to you guys is usually something that has been happening inside my paid community. And I know that if those women are experiencing it, that they are not alone. And that you too are probably also experiencing something similar. And the fact that you've clicked on this episode tells me that you are. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are new here, I am so happy that you're here. And it's such an honor to have you. If you're an OG, welcome back. It's so nice to have you here. Let's jump into today's topic. So, today, what I want to talk about is the importance of the staff that you employ. Now, this is a lesson that I had to learn very hard and very late in my salon business. But I'm hoping that if you are someone that has a team and you aren't really seeing improvements with your staff when it comes to hitting KPIs, meeting your expectations, or if you are someone that is potentially considering hiring staff, I think that this is going to be a really, really important conversation, especially if you have not yet hired staff, because this is going to give you so much information around when it does come time for you to hire staff. And this is going to be like so many golden nuggets. And if you do have staff, I think this is going to be a conversation that is going to really awaken the staff that you have right now, and are they the right fit? So let's talk about this topic. Do your staff struggle to sell retail? Do they struggle to upgrade? Do they struggle to hit those KPIs? Do you find yourself week after week, month after month, like banging your head against a fucking brick wall where you're just like, why is it not landing? Why am I not seeing any improvements? Why do I just, it doesn't matter how much training I do. It doesn't matter how much I get the rep in to do more educational training. It doesn't matter how many courses I invest in them to go and do X, Y, Z. Like nothing seems to be landing. And I'm exhausted and I don't know what to do next. So if that's you, you are 100% in the right place, right? I recently did a training for one of my clients, and it was a staff training. And this was really, really an interesting conversation. I'm not going to get into the conversations that we were having, but it really reminded me of a strategy or a topic or a framework, I guess, that you could say that I think we've forgotten about as business owners, right? And so as we were having this conversation and as I was doing this training, after I got off the training with this team, and if this is something that you're interested in, you want to have some personalized training by me with your staff, then please reach out, because that is something that I offer. 90 minutes up to 2 hours, depending on what it is that you need. I can customize something for you. But if you do need to have some kind of training and you are that person that's like, oh my God, I keep banging my head against the brick wall and nothing is fucking landing, maybe having somebody come in and just say it in a different way, or call out the bullshit as well, can do wonders for your team, right? And it could really pattern interrupt and it can shift their mindset. So that is something that I do offer. If you are interested in me coming in and doing some training, it's all done virtually. So I give you a Zoom link and everyone jumps on. They don't even need to all be in the salon. They can be, in their own space at home, like whatever it looks like. And I do almost like an intensive training with your staff. So you and I have a conversation first about what your struggles are, what's not working, what you feel like you're just banging your head against the brick wall. And then I can curate a specific training specifically for you and your team. So if that's something that you're interested in, come and let me know. You won't find that advertised anywhere, because it's just something that I just randomly do and randomly offer. So if you're listening to this episode, there's a reason why you're listening to it. And so take advantage of that, because like I said, I don't advertise that I offer team training, but if that is something that you're interested in, by all means, come and send me a message and we can have a conversation about what it looks like, and we can do, a one-off training if you need that, or, whatever that looks like. Anyway, So back on track, just wanted to let you know about that. So back on track, the thing that's really important is that when your staff are not meeting KPIs or they're not really picking up what you're putting down, it's so important to, number one, ask yourself, are these the staff that you want to have on board, right? Because your staff should be the most valuable asset to your business. And if you're like, these staff are a pain in my fucking ass, then they're not being your most valuable asset, and something needs to shift. It's either your leadership or you are hiring or keeping somebody on that you know is not the right fit, right? And if we look at this from an energetic point of view, when you have someone in your team that is not energetically aligned, that's going to create blockages. So blockages from allowing anybody else to come into your space, whether it's like new staff, blockages around money. And so it's really important that you are reevaluating all the time. Is it you or is it the staff, right? Because sometimes, I mean, no, I'm going to say 50% of the time, it's either, right? You've either employed this person out of desperation, knowing that there was already some red flags, and but you were just kind of desperate, and you're like, well, this is better than nothing. It's the only one application that I had, so I'll just put this person on. So you've hired out of desperation. You haven't really hired in alignment, so the energetics is already off. Or the other aspect is that you don't know how to lead your team. You don't know how to actually train them. You don't know how to help them meet KPIs. You don't know how to like actually support them. And so it can be either. It can be a bit of both as well. So you'll know as you're listening to this episode, you'll know which one it is. Probably is a little bit of both. It's very rare. Unless you've been working with me, it's very rare that I hear someone that has employed someone that is in alignment 99% of the time. When a client comes and works with me and we're talking about an issue with a particular staff member, we usually get to the root of it, and it is that this person probably should never have been hired, but they hired them anyway. So it's really important to make sure that the energetics and the strategy behind hiring is really like 200% top notch, right? So if you need help with like knowing how to hire and all of that information can be found inside FSM. I have an entire framework around the onboarding and offboarding of staff. If you need support with that, contracts, like interview questions, all of that is there ready for you. But one of the most important questions that you can ask, especially during your interview question, right, is let's say, let's use hair as an example, but I don't want to just use hair because I know that there's going to be other women in here that are listening to this that are also in beauty, right? So we'll just go with a service amount, right? Let's say as a particular service amount that you offer in your salon is going to cost the client, let's say $300, right? So whether that's a facial or whether that is like a full head of foils, right? Like whatever the service is, you're a smart woman, you'll figure out what your services are. And let's say it would cost $300. I want you to ask your employee before you employ them, or even if you have staff right now, this is going to really dictate whether these staff are in alignment with you, right? I want you to ask these staff, would you spend that type of money on these services? So if you're a hair salon and you do a full head of foils, right, and the full head of foils and a haircut would cost the client, say, $350, say to your staff, would you spend $350 on your hair every 6 to 7 weeks? If you are beauty and you would do a facial in your salon for, let's say, $150, would you as a staff member come and have your skin done every 6 weeks and spend $150? The answer that they give you is so fucking crucial. So crucial. The reason that it's so crucial is because this is going to determine whether they're going to be a valuable asset to your business. If they say no, there's no way that I would spend that money every 6 weeks on getting my hair done, or every 6 weeks getting a facial treatment. If they wouldn't spend it on themselves, they are not going to sell it in your salon. This is crucial. So if you have staff right now that are not meeting KPIs, ask them this question. And if they say no, this is 100% the reason that they are not meeting KPIs, because what is happening is they have their own internal projection and belief around this that they are projecting onto the client. And this is all happening on a subconscious level, right? This is not happening on a conscious level where they're like, oh, I wouldn't spend that, so I'm not going to bother talking about that with the client, right? It just happens on autopilot. They're not even aware that it's going on, which is why it's so important for you to understand the workings and the mindset and the beliefs of your staff that you have coming into your salon. Because if they would not spend that money on themselves, of course they're not going to recommend to the client. Ask them, would you spend $60 on shampoo and conditioner? Would you spend $100 on your skincare? And if they say no fucking way, no wonder they're not selling it to your clients. Like, no wonder. Like, I'm hoping that this is like so landing for you right now, where you're like, oh my God, this is like the most fucking obvious thing. How did I not see this, right? Because we are mirrors for our clients. And so whatever our own internal belief system is going to be projecting out into the space. And the thing that I see, because if you're a private client of mine, I go through all of your staff stats every single month. The ones that have very high sales, average service sales, the ones that have a high rebooking rate, the ones that have high retail and average service spend, are the ones that would spend that money on themselves because they value it. They believe in this service that you are doing. And this is such key. Belief before sales, right? Like, whatever your belief system is, whatever your internal belief system is going to filter into the way that you show up at work. So if you do have a staff member that says, no fucking way would I do that, I am 99.9% confident to say that this staff member is probably the person you are banging your head against the fucking brick wall about, trying to meet KPIs. And it's never going to happen. It is never going to happen because they do not see the value in what they bring to the table. It is just a job for them, and they're getting paid every single week, regardless of whether they meet KPIs, right? The only reason that they are, in their eyes, the only reason they need to hit KPIs is so they could get a bonus, right? But even if they don't hit KPIs, they still get paid every single week. And so it's really important that you are hiring the right people into your business. And so if you are someone that's about to hire someone, I really encourage you to add this question into your interview process, giving your average client spend on an average service, and ask them, would you spend that kind of money? And if they say no, ask them why. Right? Because if it's no, I guarantee it's because they're like, I don't really see the value. And this was something that came up in this training that I did. She was like, I wouldn't spend that money on myself. Like, I would put that money elsewhere. Like, I would rather pay a bill, or I'd rather do this, or I'd rather do that. Like, if I wasn't a hairdresser, this is what she said to me. If I wasn't a hairdresser, there's no way I would get my hair done as much as what I do. And then I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is why your KPIs are not being met, because you don't even believe in what it is that you're offering right now. You don't even believe in the value that you are giving your clients, which is such a disservice to the client that is choosing to sit in that chair. That client is choosing to sit in that chair and invest their money with you and your team. And they are there because they want the experience. And all of a sudden, they're getting the shittest experience because you have a staff member that does not value what you bring to the table, the services that you bring to the table, the price point that you bring to the table. So this has been a very, very, very tough love conversation, but a very, very necessary one. And I really hope that this question, you go and you go and ask your staff, right? And if you're not yet employed staff, like, ask them, because like I said, if they don't value it, you are going to really struggle to see them increase anything in themselves, right? Like, you're going to really see that that's something that is really hard. and you're just going to keep bashing your head every single week against the brick wall and wonder why is it not happening. But it's because the belief is not even there to start with, right? It's not there. So it's going to be very hard to try and coach someone when they're not willing to at least rewrite their beliefs, right? And so you can have a conversation with them, and maybe they are happy to rewrite this belief. But if they're not willing to, do the work, or they're not willing to, rewrite that mindset that they currently have around money and around the value that they bring, then this may not be the right fit for you and your salon. Especially if you're wanting to grow and you're wanting to step into next levels, which if you're here listening to this, like that is the woman that is listening to this, right? Like that is you. You are listening to this episode because you're like, what can I do next to level up? What can I do to continue to grow the business? What are my next steps? And so this is one of them. And it's not going to be probably an easy conversation for you to have. But if you do have constant staff that are not meeting KPIs, I'm 99% sure that this is the reason why. And it's because they don't value it. And then you need to make some serious decisions about, is this the kind of person that you want to have on board in your salon as you continue to grow? Someone that is almost like fighting against you a little bit. So this has landed for you and you've had a huge takeaways, or, you're like, holy fuck, like I've just realized that all my staff are exactly that. And yeah, what do I do now? Come and let me know if you've had some takeaways. I always love hearing from you when you listen to episodes, and I want to make sure that things are landing for you as well. I know your time is valuable as well, so I want to make sure that this is of service to you. And if you are interested in coming into my spaces, we can do a couple of different ways. If you need to see whether FSM, Freedom Salon Manual Mentorship Container, is the right fit for you, we can 100% do a strategy call first, and I can get a bit of a picture on what your challenges are, where you're at, what your goals are, and see if that is the right fit. Integrity is my biggest core value. So if I truly believe that it's not the right fit for you, it's, there's not one shoe fits all. Then I will let you know that. And yeah, if you are interested in coming into the spaces, then you'll see in the show notes everything there to get started. And you'll also see my calendar link as well if you wanted to go ahead and book a strategy call. It's 60 minutes. We delve deep into where you're at, what's going on, what your challenges are, and then we have a conversation about what that would look like to completely change all of that around. And I kind of pick up on the blind spots that maybe you're not seeing, because when we are stuck in our business, it's very hard to zoom out and see things from a clearer perspective. So head to the show notes. You'll find everything there. Otherwise, come and shoot me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have there. All right, I will leave it there for now. I hope you have a beautiful day, and we will talk very, very soon. Okay, bye for now.